This is Devin, everybody. And Devin, you live in, what zone do you live in?
Technically, it's zone 3B because of our winters, but reality, it's somewhere between 4A, 4B in the summer.
And where is that in the U.S.?
I live in Maine, so I'm in Rangeley, Maine. So I'm way up in the mountains in a lake region, so it's very cool.
Okay, and you're growing figs.
Yeah.
And figs are a subtropical tree.
Yeah.
And you live in a very temperate zone.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, people think that in Maine you can only grow apples and pine trees. And there's a lot of pine trees and there are tons of apples everywhere. It's another passion of mine, hunting for old apples. But,
really?
Yeah.
Well, how many apple trees do you have?
None yet, but that'll probably change.
Did you find any though?
Oh yeah, I have a little list going and a little hiking GPS.
Check that out.
And then I'm gonna identify them and take fruit pictures and do it officially like the government does. Oh yeah, this is this big thing.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty pumped up about
Devin's very into plants, we can tell.
She has a fig tree that she has in her living room. It's a black mission tree. It doesn't see the sunlight anymore. It's just under grow lights all year. I got sick of moving it. She has narrow doorways. It's just heavy to move a huge pot.
Really?
Yeah.
How big is this tree?
It was 7 or 8 feet tall because it got to the ceiling and then kind of moved itself this way.
Yeah.
And I actually just pruned it back and I'm training it as a bush form for her, but it's now back up to about 5 feet and it's got multiple trunks.
Is it fruit?
Yep. She gets probably 50 fruits a year off this thing, and they're good. I mean, they're very good. And it's
indoors.
It's just indoors. It's got its own little T5 grow light.
T5 grow lights.
Yeah. Yeah. She changes the bulbs every year. She gives it tons of bat guano and worm castings, and the tree is happy as a clam.
Wow.
Yeah.
You hear that, guys? You can grow a fig tree indoors. How big's the pot?
It's probably a 25-gallon pot.
25 gallon. The tree's about 5 feet tall. That's reasonable. That's a really respectable number of figs too.
Yeah, it's quite delicious for an indoor fig.
Wow.
Yeah, I just wanted one fig. I was kind of going through a little bit of an apocalypse phase, and I was like, if the world ends and I have a lemon and I'm growing lemons and I'm growing figs and avocados and olives, people will trade everything for that because they're gonna want lemons. It's gonna be hot. They're gonna want lemonade. They're gonna want lemons because their teeth are rotting. I was like all about it.
Yeah.
And then you get one fig, and then all of a sudden you have a lot. But I'm not very picky. My biggest thing when it comes down to it, because I have a very short season, I'm about 120 days.
Yeah.
So my biggest thing is going to be, can the majority of the figs ripen within that time?
Yeah.
And how do they resist to rain? Because I have a lot of rain. I'm in the mountains and lakes regions. It rains almost every day.
Do you know how much rain you get per month?
I don't know, but it pretty much rains every day.
Where I live, we get about 40 inches of rain a year.
Yeah.
And I believe somewhere up north is somewhere at least in the 50 range. So,
it sounds reasonable. I think probably 50, 55 inches.
Yeah, I mean, and I get a lot of rain. So for someone to get more rain than me, it just seems a little bit ridiculous. But, so you have to fit it in such a small window because your frost comes, and then once the frost comes, you're done.
Yeah, mid-September. That's until I have a permanent in-ground passive solar greenhouse. Mid-September, that's it.
So what happens? What happens then? You do it. So if you don't have a greenhouse, what do you do then?
I've actually been taking as soon as I see frost is coming in a week, I clip all the leaves off.
Okay.
And I just leave the stems and force them to go dormant.
Okay.
And then they can take that little light frost, which really enforces don't keep growing. You're going into cold storage, and then they go in the basement till spring.
Okay. Do you water them in the basement?
It's about a cup every month. It depends on the tree.
And how hot is it in the basement? Is it a heated basement?
No, it's a cold side of a basement, so one side's heated, one side's not. And I think it's probably about 40, 45 degrees down there.
Okay.
Next year I'm gonna actually, because they broke dormancy in March.
Yeah.
And since I don't have a greenhouse, that was kind of a problem. I was under lights and shuffling. It was a big, huge. Every day I had to check and see which ones were starting to leaf out, and it was quite a thing. So next year I'm gonna crack a window and see if I can kind of keep it closer to 32 degrees, so that way I don't have to deal with that.
Oh, that's awesome. And you know what though? That's the perfect temperature too.
Yeah, it's a learning process. As time goes on, you improve in your little zone.
So if you said you wanted to have a fig in Maine, you could grow a fig in a container, put it on your patio,
definitely,
and then have it fruit, bring it inside and put it in your basement, and
Yep.
you're good to go.
And if you have a little greenhouse, you can even throw them outside. Probably April. You probably could.
Yeah. Well, there you go, guys. If you're thinking about growing figs and you're in a very cold area, like 4B, you said.
Yeah, you can grow. You can
grow
grow
figs
things in a lot of areas that people don't think. You just have to be a little more ingenious in the weather.
Exactly, and I find that if people say you can't do it, usually you can.
Yeah.
So, thanks, Devin, for the interview. This was a great
it
talk.
was great.
That was a good ending. So, we'll get a blooper reel. So, Devin.
This is already a good.
So, Devin, thanks for the interview. It was nice talking to you, man. And,
Yeah, likewise.
I'm really. All right, we're done.